All right, welcome back everybody, and thank you for joining me for the exercise of the week. In this week's video, we're going to cover 3 exercises. We're going to cover a farmer's walk, 2 dumbbell marching, and then 1 dumbbell marching. They all have the same thought process to them. It's just a slightly different way to execute them to get a slightly different, again, target on the body or outcome. So all farmer's walks are, and I think why these are such a good core, postural, hip stability exercise for the full body is because we're doing so much core work on the floor, which is good. We want to isolate these areas with planks, with side planks, with dead bug and all of that, but we want to put them in play. From a running standpoint, we want to make sure we're bridging the gap from our core training all the way to how we really capture that as we run, which I think there's a big disconnect right there. I see people that are fantastic on the ground, they're really strong from their core, from a core standpoint, but they're not putting that into play as they run, so this will help you really connect those dots. So to start with farmer's walks, because this lays the foundation for those other 2 exercises and movements, we're simply going to get a nice heavy pair of dumbbells. We want to go as heavy as we can realistically hold to maintain good form. I find a lot of people do these too light, and really kind of misjudge how heavy they can go. We want to get to the point where it starts to affect our grip strength to some degree. So for women, I see holding a pair of 35 to 40s are typically where I want them to be. Guys, we're usually getting a little bit heavier, anywhere from 60 to 70 pounds in each hand. But just to see what farmer's walks are, farmer's carries, if I'm tall, shoulder blades back, and I'm not completely retracting here because then I arch my back, I'm finding that neutral point where I'm not rounded forward, I'm not overly pulled back, I'm right in the middle, trying to squeeze the shoulder blades together. Always want to start with a nice deep exhale. Exhale, rib cage down. So good setup through again, anywhere from the lower back all the way through the shoulders. Good postural control and positioning. And then from here, all I'm going to do, and I want to make sure I don't walk in tandem. I want to walk as if there was a line on the floor and my foot is on either side of that line. I'm just going to slowly walk down. So you can think as I transition to a single leg, I have these dumbbells tugging at me, right? The dumbbells are trying to pull me over to the side. So I'm just trying to maintain good postural control and stability, good stability and balance of the lower body. And I'm just slowly going to walk down with good control. What's happening here is my core, all these muscles alongside the hips, the pelvis, the rib cage, the spine are having to fire to maintain proper alignment and position of the body, okay? You'll notice there, if you lack that in some of these areas, as you transition, you'll see those people that are losing the position of their body because they're losing that postural control. Very simple exercise, but challenging. It's not one of those that you're gonna feel like, oh wow, I feel my abs burning, right? A lot of people look at this and like, okay, I don't feel the benefit. It's because a lot of these smaller stabilizers throughout the entire body, from the foot all the way up to the head and the neck, are working together to stabilize you. So you're gonna feel that challenge of it pulling you. You're most likely not gonna feel that direct burn like you will with some of the other core exercises, but super important from a core stability, a postural stability, and a running standpoint. So try to go as heavy as you can. Walk for a distance of 10 to 15 feet. Go until the forearms and the hands start to fatigue. Drop the weights down, rest, reset, and then walk back, doing 2 to 3 sets of that. Now, getting to my favorite variations, if we just go and use that same thought process, but now we add it in a marching drill. So 2 dumbbell marching is the first place to go because it's symmetrical. So it's going to give me the same equal pull side to side as opposed to the 1 dumbbell marching, which I'll show in a second. So same thing, nice heavy weights, usually a little bit lighter because now we're going up into a single leg. Always making sure I'm not striking down in tandem. I don't want my feet to land here. Again, we don't want to cross over or create that crossover sign, but as I'm here, good posture, exhale, core engage. I'm just going to come up, single leg stance, strike the foot directly underneath the knee, and then transfer to the other side. So now being able to stabilize more on a single leg. Okay, so a lot of you know I've showed slow motion marching before, slow motion marching with metronome. This is just a simple way to add more demand and intensity on some of these stabilizers. So I really have to focus on as I strike down, I'm not reaching forward. I'm striking the foot straight down underneath the knee and prevent that overstride. And then I'm slowly transitioning because I want to promote a nice level pelvis, nice tall spine, and good engaged core at all times, okay? So this would be the same thing. I would go for about 10 to 15 feet down, nice slow exercise. Control, stabilize, own your position. You should feel like a statue here, that you're not getting pulled by that weight from one side to the other side, okay? Same thing, 2 to 3 sets, 10 to 15 feet down and back, and really work on that postural control, but stability of the lower extremity. So we're stabilizing the foot in the ground, we're aligning the knee, should feel some through the hips, and we wanna make sure we're keeping the pelvis nice and level, and that's where that slowness of that exercise, that slow transition from one to the next, keeps that pelvis nice and level to work on good pelvic control. Now, last one here is the one dumbbell marching. So now it's getting a little bit tricky because we have a single kind of unilateral force or weight pulling us down to the side. So we're gonna do the same thing as the 2 dumbbell marching, but now we just have to withstand that pull. This is where things get a little bit tricky. If you're someone that has poor pelvic control, poor hip strength, this is a great exercise that works on just teaching you how to strengthen and stabilize these muscles that control the pelvis. So I would just hold that heavy dumbbell in one hand, and then you'll notice a tendency, because the dumbbell's in one hand, to now walk in tandem even more. So we have to make sure we're striking straight down, and we're transitioning into that next step. So this one, obviously not super heavy. I'm only holding 35 pounds on this one, because I didn't want to be too out of breath for you guys, but core is engaged. I already feel that pull, which means I have to use one side slightly more than the other side. So dumbbells in my right hand, my left side obliques, QL, rectus abdominis, intertransversalis. Some of these muscles throughout the spine, smaller, stabilize on that one side, have to really work hard to keep me level through my shoulders, because this is really trying to pull me down to one side. As I go down my 10 to 15 feet, striking down underneath the knee, switching hands, and then I'm coming back. Good control, postural stability. If I had access to a mirror, I could look in the mirror and say, okay, what are my shoulders doing, right? This is the tendency. The dumbbell's pulling us down to the side. We need to use these core muscles and stabilizers to level out the shoulder, maintain good postural control and stability, and to walk down in the proper position. So there's 3 exercises for you, or progressions of, again, very similar thought process. Farmer's walks or farmer's carries, 2 dumbbell marching, 1 dumbbell marching. Definitely recommend trying these. If you tried them before in the past, comment below, let me know how they went. But from a running standpoint, these are fantastic to really tie together core strength, core stability with the foot, with the knee, with the hip. I mean, all of this stuff is really tied together into one simple exercise. So I highly recommend this finds a place in your program. If you only have 5-pound weights, don't worry about it. Grab the weight, grab a water jug, grab something just to give you some pull side to side and do this exercise. Hold a suitcase in your hand, right? A lot of people call if I was doing the 1 dumbbell version, a suitcase carry, because like back in the day before we were wheeling these things around, we would carry a suitcase in our hands, right? So fantastic core exercises that tie together the entire body. Please do me a favor, comment below, any questions, any feedback, anything for me. Again, I'd love to interact and answer that for you. But I hope you have a great week. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I will definitely talk to you guys soon. Thank you.